Welcome to the Identity V Call of the Abyss 8 version guide. I'm commentator Potch Spice. Today I'll introduce and analyze the tournament environment for the global qualifiers. Let's explore the key changes and adjustments. First is the new survivor character, the Knight. External trait adaptation. The Knight fully immerses himself in the world of roleplay. When he dons his helmet, he embodies the knight of his fantasies and temporarily gains knightly traits. Tactical foresight. The knight can predict the next 2 actions of the nearest hunter within 13 meters over the next 8 seconds. Each correct prediction will impose tactical constraint on the hunter and invigorate the knight for 2 seconds, granting a 40% movement speed boost. If the hunter is targeting another survivor, the knight's tactical foresight duration is reduced from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, and the constraint effect on the attack and abilities is weakened. This ability is activated in 2 stages. Hold the ability button and slide to predict whether the hunter's first action within the next 8 seconds will be an ability or an attack. After making the initial prediction, the knight can then predict whether the hunter's next action within the following 4 seconds will be an ability, attack, or stalemate. Chivalrous Sympathy. The knight can activate Chivalrous Sympathy on a survivor within 8 meters who is on a rocket share, allowing the survivor to break free. Activating Chivalrous Sympathy for the first time will grant both the knight and the survivor the simpatico effect. All thumbs and decoding speed is decreased by 15%. As a popular survivor in the current patch, the knight has a trait that slows down his decoding speed. His core tactical value lies in terms of harassing. The knight reduces the rate of mistakes in mind games through skill prediction and strong harassing power, creating a wider window for the survivor team. As for rescuing, the stable rescue mechanic of Chivalrous Sympathy can be effective at medium to close ranges, and the knight only needs to be cautious of being intercepted at longer distance mind games. He has become a key tactical member in the current meta, with his comprehensive offensive and defensive capabilities. New Hunter, Goatman. External trait, Cage of Lost Lambs. Goatman uses mechanisms and illusions to create a cage that is impossible to escape. Each side of the cage is fortified with a physical barrier, effectively blocking all characters from entering or exiting. Jeffrey recovers 1.8 resentment per second for up to 120 resentment. Survivors near a cage receive a 10% reduction in obstacle vaulting speed. Shackled. When Goatman increases the survivor's sphere inside the cage will disappear prematurely. Outside the cage, Jeffrey's attack will only deal half the normal damage. As a newly introduced and highly capable hunter, Goatman effectively overcomes the traditional single hunter dilemma through his unique anti-harassing system. His balanced performance in pursuit, chair guarding, and control makes him more suitable for the pace of Call of the Abyss tournaments. However, due to his playstyle, he heavily relies on the patch meta. Pro-level support tactics will significantly suppress his performance ceiling. Additionally, classic counter characters like Perfumer and Puppeteer still loom over the patch. Thus, Goatman requires a lot of effort and practice to fully master and unlock his full power. New Hunter, Hullabaloo. External trait, Final Stage. The stage beneath Hullabaloo is divided into 3 areas, each affected by different bombs. These areas remain fixed and do not move with him. Survivors in different stage areas suffer different debuffs. Pyrotechnic Stage. Survivor cannot use their items. Dry Ice Stage. Survivor obstacle vaulting speed is reduced by 15%, and decoding speed and gate opening speed are reduced by 30%. Clay Stage. Survivor movement speed is reduced by 15%. After leaving the stage, the debuff on the survivor will persist for 0.5 seconds. Joyful Terror. Hullabaloo possesses extremely fast movement speed, and his attacks do not directly inflict damage. Instead, each hit applies a fright mark based on the stage area. Collecting 3 different fright marks triggers a burst of fear, which deals normal attack damage and clears all fright marks. This burst causes terror shock and benefits from the damage bonus provided by the detention talent. Each fright mark lasts up to 40 seconds, and attacking a survivor refreshes the mark's duration. When Hullabaloo hits a survivor, he does not enter a hit recovery period, only a miss recovery period. Hullabaloo can move during this miss recovery period, but his movement speed is reduced by 70%. As the new benchmark for strong pursuit type hunters, Hullabaloo builds his unique tempo through a 60-second knockdown mechanic and high-frequency displacement. His early game pressure is nearly unbeatable, but his weakness lies in chair guarding and control, which relies on a speed compensating for loss strategy. By bringing abnormal or peepers to enhance his snowballing potential, he becomes especially suitable for small maps. In pro matches, he needs to be cautious of harassers until his endgame, but the core logic of his gameplay always revolves around compensating for control gaps with his pursuit speed. He'll certainly make a mark in the upcoming Call of the Abyss tournament. After reviewing the new character introductions, let's shift focus to the key adjusted characters, starting with survivors. Mechanic. Reduce the decoding speed reduction caused by the external trait Cowardly from 35% to 25%. Increase the decoding speed reduction of the mechanic's doll from 10% to 16%. Additionally, reduce the basic depletion rate of the doll from 0.56% per second to 0.5% per second. The durability depletion rate when the doll is knocked down or placed on the rocket chair has been reduced from 0.83% per second to 0.75% per second. Puppeteer. Lewis can negate fear equivalent to 1.5 times the normal damage. Adjusted the external trait Useless Flesh to reduce the increasing and healing time for healed survivors from 20% to 10% after the puppeteer heals them. Professor. Scale hardening can now block powerful control effects like confinement with a cooldown of 45 seconds following a successful block. Adjusted the cooldown of scale hardening after blocking normal attack damage to 65 seconds. Gravekeeper. In underground sneak mode, the Gravekeeper can select nearby locations to emerge from the ground, knocking back nearby hunters. When surfacing, the remaining duration of the shovel will be reduced by 15 seconds. After the digging ends, the remaining duration of the shovel's underground sneak is reduced by 10 seconds. Toy Merchant. The Toy Merchant can now use the catapult immediately after placing it without a 1-second delay. The Toy Merchant will receive a 30% movement speed boost for 2 seconds upon landing from a repulsion. The Toy Merchant's default items and those obtained from chests will increase her obstacle vaulting speed by 4% up to 12%. Survivors will automatically pick up the toy container when passing by it. Each survivor can only pick up the toy container once. We've seen many adjustments to survivors. In the current patch meta, a lot of hunters can be picked, so there are also some adjustments done to the survivors addressing the low pick rate of certain survivors. This allows for more diverse lineups and varied tactics. Facing different hunters and maps, survivors can also achieve a great band pick strategy, giving their lineup much more freedom and diversity. Turning to hunters, these two characters with exceptionally high pick rates in previous versions have received balance adjustments. The Shadow unified the cooldown of Revelation to 18 seconds, adjusted the speed at which corruption increases within 32 meters around the rocket chair with survivors on it up to 0.5 times the normal rate. Opera Singer reduced the speed of Shadow Leap by 12%, increased the cooldown of Shadow Dance to 24 seconds. After this round of balance adjustments, the Shadow and the Opera Singer have undergone skill cooldown adjustments, but they remained in the top tier due to their adaptability to the current patch meta. Opera Singer maintains her stability with her snowballing mechanism, while the Shadow continues to wield powerful, high-risk, high-reward control capabilities. with innovative ban pick strategies. Both characters can appear in later matches to avoid the global ban pick rules, creating a new meta for veterans and new challengers together with Hullabaloo and Goatman in the upcoming Call of the Abyss tournament. After discussing our new characters and the new patch, finally, we must also note the adjustments to the tournament ban pick rules. A brand new ban pick system will be implemented during the global qualifier phase of Call of the Abyss 8. Hunter characters enter the global ban pick mode for the first time, similar to the rules for survivors from round 1 to round 3. The Hunter characters that are picked by both teams will not be selected or banned again in the entire game. Corresponding balance adjustments about that include the maximum number of Hunter characters that survivors can ban has been reduced from previous 3 to 2. In addition, the way teams will have an additional opportunity to ban a map in round 3. That concludes the Call of the Abyss 8 version guide. Stay tuned to the Call of the Abyss 8 global qualifiers for the latest updates and thrilling content. We'll see you again next time.